Trump Economic Advisor Andy Puzder, I believe you're with it. Yes, you are. There you are.
I am.
Andy, welcome to the show. Trump Economic Advisor. Let's talk about this Mexico thing for a second. Look, I understand that it's a political plus for Donald Trump when Mexico gets these jobs. But I don't understand if it's an economic plus for America if he slaps a 35% tax on cars coming back here.
Look, I'm going to add a little bit to what Monica said. It's not only political and economic. There's also your negotiating position. I don't know if nobody really talked about this, but the president in Mexico, when Trump visited, the Mexican president said he was willing to renegotiate NAFTA. Now, I don't know if he would have said that if Donald Trump hadn't been talking about renegotiating NAFTA. But Donald Trump is taking the kinds of positions that a businessman would take if he's going to go in and get a great deal. The United States doesn't want 35% tax on autos coming into the United States, but neither does Mexico. And if Mexico believes that's what we're going to do, we're going to get a much better deal. So I think it'll be an economic plus, a political plus, and he's certainly taking the right position if you're a businessman going in to negotiate a deal.
Okay, next case. Donald Trump says if he's elected president, Apple will make iPhones in America. How is he going to make that happen? I know you're into politics, Monica, but I'll start with you. First, no, let me ask you this. You think you can do that? You think you can build an iPhone in the United States of America? Do you?
I don't think the government can force a company like Apple to do it. But
right.
what
you think they could do it?
But what the government can do and what the president can do is set out an agenda that creates a business-friendly environment.
Well, wait a second. Look, we had a Trump supporter on the program yesterday saying that just saying it is a good idea because it's a good idea politically, but he didn't give a chance in a snowball's chance in hell for doing it.
Politically, that's a different thing. It's very savvy for him to be making these arguments. He will get a lot of votes on it. But in terms of being able to coerce a private company in making their products here, manufacturing here, no. But what the government can do is create a business-friendly environment.
The iPhone would cost $3,000.
Yes, it would be $10,000.
No.
$10,000. Well, okay, who said no? Who was that?
Peter. I said no. It's technically possible. Apple at one time made its devices in the United States and chose to go overseas. With automated production these days, we would certainly still be importing some components, but it's possible to do these things.
It would really chew in its cash pile, and it could hit everyone's 401ks because Apple stock could go down because the logistics would pay for it.
Could I finish?
Go on, Peter.
No, it's technically possible. The trick here is to create a positive environment. Getting the yuan revalued, lowering the corporate tax rate to 15%, that would create that kind of situation. And then it wouldn't hit the stocks, Liz. It wouldn't hit the stocks if it made economic sense. What you've got to do is create an environment where it makes economic sense. If you put a gun to their head and say, under the present conditions, in the Obama economy, you have to make them here, it would hit their stock. But remember, most of what they're getting out of the phone is the return on their intellectual property, and that would not go away.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying. They need to bring that $200 billion back overseas, and if they don't do that, it's going to hit everyone's 401k.
Okay. The Dow Jones Industrial Average right now is up 102 points. That occurring just, what, a half hour before Donald Trump releases his economic and growth plan. Is there any connection? Ashley Webster's here. He's thrown cold water on my association of the market performance on a Trump presidency.
Well, you said if you think I'm full of it, tell me you're full of it. I'm not going to say you're full of it because you're the host of the show, and that would be very disrespectful. Listen, I don't think it helps the market. No one really knows what Donald Trump's going to do. A lot of what he says, less taxes, less regulation, how can that not be good for the markets? How could that not be good for the economy as a whole? But talk is cheap. We'll have to see. The markets, we've been told that they prefer Hillary because it's same as you go. There's no confusion, no worries about the unknown. But I'm not so sure. But to your point, to get back to the beginning, I don't think it's having a huge impact right now, in my humble opinion.
Okay. I'll not argue. There's a British outfit. They're called Oxford Economics. They say a Trump... Did you hear that? Did you hear that? They said
those are the same guys that told us Brexit was going to be a bust, and the UK hasn't sunk into the Atlantic.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me finish the story here. They say that a Trump presidency could shrink the economy by $1 trillion. What they mean by that is it would add $1 trillion to the debt of our nation. I'm not sure over what period of time. But they also say the Trump presidency would cost America 4 million jobs. All right, Peter, finish your thought. Tell me why they are wrong.
Well, if Donald Trump managed to get China to revalue its yuan, we'd be getting more jobs, not less. What they're assuming is the worst, that Donald Trump puts in place this big tariff and no one negotiates with us. You know, if we do that, then we've got a problem. It's going to take some time to readjust the U.S. economy to that effect. But you got to remember that most economists, especially in these places, are progressive, democratic-leaning, and so forth. They have a stake in the status quo. And with all the things the two candidates are proposing, you can pick and choose and structure your scenarios for these studies as you please. Remember the Brexit studies.
I do.
Britain was going to sink into the Atlantic Ocean. It hasn't happened. Captain May is sailing right along.
Andy Puzder, you've got 20 seconds to make your case why the Brits on this are wrong.
They overestimated the negative impact of his trade policy. They overestimated the negative impact of immigration. They underestimated the positive impacts of his tax and regulatory policy. Of course, they came up with the wrong answer. They're just not looking at the right things.